And we're live.
Yay! Hi guys, how are you? How are you doing
It's
today?
Tuesday, not Friday.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. We had a
And
little
with
bit of
our tea.
we had to rearrange our schedule last week because MJ had some stuff going on. I had some stuff going on. So we said, you know what? We're just going to call it Tea Talk from now on instead of Tea Talk Tuesday, but it'll be on the Tuesdays for the most part. So but
Absolutely.
we're back to the regular Tea Talk today, regular scheduled programming.
Yeah, we are here. We are here.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here.
And today is going to be an exciting one, I believe. We're only talking about 3 main ingredients, really, but it's all about the heart chakra. And there are 2 teas that we're talking about today because, I have to be extra. Yeah, so we're doing 2 teas instead of 1. And it's not because I'm extra, it's because when people think about the heart chakra, certain colors come to mind, right, MJ? What are the
Yep,
typical colors? When
green
you
and
think
pink.
but when you think, I don't think most people think about green as being related to the heart. When
Really?
normal people,
Well,
not like
they think of red. They think of red, but for me, it's not about it's always been green and pink. It's that nice, calming, cooling color. It's that connecting
right,
with Archangel Raphael, opposed to red, which is a passion. That's your Kundalini
right,
energy, and that's your root chakra. That's all the way down by the ground. I'm talking in the center of your heart, the center of everything. Sits your heart chakra, and that's
right.
green or pink.
So for us, it's green or pink. So if you look at a diagram of what's called the chakras, you'll notice that the heart chakra, which is really referred to as the anahata, that is actually green. Right, so that's where we're getting the color green from. But of course, there's also pink that's used in relation to the heart chakra. And the two teas that we're going to talk about are that influenced. The teas are called Chrysoprase and Rose Quartz, and those are the crystals that actually inspired the creation of the teas. So I have Rose Quartz. There's a nice raw chunk of Rose Quartz here, and then I have a faceted bracelet also made from rose quartz.
And I have a
It's
heart.
showing up,
I have a heart.
and you have the heart. That's an actual anatomically correct heart,
Yep.
right?
And that is a rose quartz heart.
And it's
There
not
you go.
coming across as pink from my end because I changed the position of my desk, and now the sun, it's nice and bright. So let me see,
Right.
but it is
And then,
pink. It is a nice, pretty
it,
pink color.
right. As you can see here, it is pink. So
And then
that
I
is
have
rose quartz.
this is a rose quartz bracelet that I also have here.
Yeah,
So
I took
then,
out my babies too. Love,
oh yeah,
love,
I do have a
love.
generator over here as well. So the other stone that influenced the chrysoprase, which influenced the green color, is this one. So this is a piece of chrysoprase, tumbled chrysoprase that I have.
And I have a mala that's all chrysoprase. One of my it's a high priestess crystal. It's a protection stone. So for me, I wear it. It doesn't come off me. It's one of my crystals that never leaves my body is chrysoprase. So
And then I'm also wearing chrysoprase earrings. It has a little pearl, but yeah. So one of my favorite pairs of earrings. I've had these for about 20, probably 22 years. Yeah. So those are the ones that inspired the 2 particular teas that I have. But there are other crystals that are also related to the heart chakra that are pink and green that are not necessarily the ones related to this. So I want to mention a few of those before we move on. Let me talk about these a
we
little
both
bit more.
have. I'll let her go with hers, and then I'll give you my list because we both have. It's so many, guys, so many, and
Yeah.
choose what resonates with you. Don't go by what everyone. Okay, I want to stop for a second. Let the purpose
Mhm.
of these tea talks, these purposes of putting these tea talks together, are for you to go back to basics to understand. You can have these herbs in your cabinet, and you can pull them out, and you yourself you make them. Instead of going online, instead of buying. How about going back and using your hands? The more magical it is, it's when it comes from you. So we're trying to show you what these herbs mean medicinally and spiritually, so that way you can connect with them and you can reinvent yourself. I read something the other day that really struck me, and it said, you know what sloppy seconds is? And I'm like, yeah, I know what sloppy seconds is. So when you take someone else's sigil, when you take someone else's magic off the
Mhm.
internet, you're taking somebody else's sloppy seconds. What they want, the purpose of the internet is for you to take it and say, okay, put an idea. Now the seed is planted, and for you to take it and create your own amazingness using your hands. You don't know how many people I talk to that say, oh my God, I made this tea and I put them together and I didn't know I can do it. And it was just so amazing. I felt magical. That's where the magic lies, guys, in your hands doing it yourself. And Gina and I put this blog together here so we can come and talk to you and let you know all these beautiful herbs alone, how amazing. But when you compact them together, the benefits. And that's why we're here and talking about the heart chakra. We've gone over the root already. We've gone to the solar and the sacral. Now it's the heart chakra. Now we get into the nitty gritty. And for me, the heart is the center. For me, the heart chakra is the center of our universe. It's where
Let
everything
me
flows.
let's pause for 1 second. You mentioned some amazing creators. We have one of them in the chat right now. Cheryl Cole, I'm calling you out. Yes, you are one of those amazing tea creators. We also have Shannon is here. Yolanda is here.
Hey, Thomas, how you
Gosh,
doing?
Thomas
Heather's
is
here.
here. Heather, we've got quite a few people in the chat. Thank you for dropping in. We hope that you're going to enjoy this one because it's and I know you enjoy them all, but then we have someone fitness for the average Joe, David. So thank you guys for stopping by. All right.
Yes.
So MJ, you're going to talk about the other crystals that could have inspired these particular this particular heart chakra.
Yes. So when it comes to heart chakra, remember the heart chakra is the center. So there are many, many crystals that we're talking frequency. Your heart chakra is a frequency. So we're talking about the frequencies that relate to your heart chakra. So say you're having a rough time, a bad day, I don't have a Reiki master here. I don't know anything about healing. And you have a crystal. Rose quartz, simple. Take the rose quartz, place it on your heart, take a deep breath in. We don't have rose quartz. Ammonite. There you go. Another beautiful stone. You touching your heart. What is it doing? It's connecting. It's shifting the frequency. Breathing in. Someone said in the group, you can go out in nature. He is 1000% right. Go out. Put your feet in the grass. Hug a tree. Those are all things that will change your heart frequency and reconnect you. Also, look at this. It's pink tourmaline. These are all stones. Rhodochrosite. All right. And then we'll go to the green ones. Look, it's green calcite. All the stones that connect with the heart are green and pink. And when you put them together, even the foods, when you think about foods that revolve around pink and green. Those are rich in nutrients that help your heart beat stronger and change your frequency. So when you're thinking about it, okay, those green smoothies, guess what? Your heart is going to thank you for it. Add a little pink and some raspberries. Woo! And that's how you just change the frequency. And remember, I went from crystals or put on some music. You can get some heart music in there and get that frequency of the heart going. And everything we talk about here shifts the energy of the heart.
Exactly. Now the ones that I have, I've got rhodonite. This is a rhodonite cube. And then I also have a piece of green aventurine. And I have my absolute favorite. I told MJ before the show started, there's no way I can get on without mentioning my favorite. This is a piece of emerald because that is my birthstone. So emerald is also here. So Thomas says green and pink smoothies. Now I would venture to say that the red herbs as well also resonate with your heart chakra because things like the hibiscus. And one of the things we'll talk about later is the Hawthorne berries. Those are red, but they are really good for the circulatory system, which makes them in turn really great for the heart. So I'll talk about all of that in a little while. Another stone I have here is the jade, and this is my jade roller. So that's also another green stone. All right, so those are some
You
of
can
the.
relate. You see where we're going, the line. Go down that line. You know what? Be curious about what stones relate to you, because she just gave you some and I gave you some. Which relate to the ones that work with you most. And that's your stone. And that's how you connect with your heart chakra if you need to, using the crystals.
Yeah, if you notice, most jade rollers are made either of, or most rollers for your face are made either of jade or of rose quartz. If you have either one of these, I'd love to know. Just pop it in the chat and let me know, please. But this is my jade roller. But I have seen the rose quartz ones as well. You know, the whole idea of self-love, self-care. Yes. All right. So let me show you what the teas actually look like before we really jump into it. This is the Rose Quartz Tea. You can see let me see if I can shake it up a little. You can see the rose petals. They were actually more red than they are now. But they look like little pieces of rose quartz kind of floating around, if rose quartz could float, you know? So that is the rose quartz one with this one has hawthorne berries, hyssop, lavender, and rose petals. So that is the rose quartz one. And then the other one, which was influenced by or inspired by the Chrysoprases, is this particular one has matcha and moringa in it. And then of course I put my own nut milk. So it's a little paler. So it's more of a latte right now, but this has matcha and moringa. And that one was inspired by the piece of chrysoprase. And I keep stirring it because the moringa and the matcha tend to settle at the bottom. So whenever you're drinking that, you want to make sure that you're always stirring it because it does settle. All right, so let's jump in, right? Let's start talking about all of the benefits of the different. And I'm going to give you some tips at the end of how you can develop the moringa and matcha even more or less, entirely up to you. So what should we start with? How about the rose quartz tea?
Go ahead, go for it.
All right, so the rose quartz, like I mentioned, has in the hawthorne berries, and I do have a little piece of the hawthorne berries here, so I wanted to show you. Here is one. These are dried. So that's a hawthorne berry, and then I have just a dry rosebud, which I put in here. And then, of course, there's also hyssop in there, and there's lavender. You all know what lavender looks like, right? Hyssop is kind of hard to show because it's when I get it, it's all broken up into pieces. But if you do look up online what the hyssop flowers look like, they're really pretty purple. And most of what I use is a combination of the flower with some of the leaves. All right, so rose quartz has hawthorne berries, hyssop, lavender, and rose. So we start with the hawthorne berries, and we're only going to be talking about the particular herbs that we have not discussed in past episodes, just to keep this a little bit shorter, because otherwise we'd be here all day. Heather says, I have jade and rose quartz gua sha tools. Oh, nice.
Wow, those are cool.
I think the gua sha tool that I have is also made of jade. I don't have any rose quartz gua sha tools. All right, so hawthorne berries. The reason why I incorporated hawthorne berries is because years ago, when I was first diagnosed with lupus, I also was diagnosed with heart issues. So hawthorne berries is a powerful, powerful herb. You can call it an herb for heart issues. So that's why it's in this particular tea blend and has been in other tea blends that I've made in the past. So traditionally, it was used for indigestion, but it's also used for healthy circulation as well as a tonic for the heart. And tonic just basically means it helps to tone the heart muscle as well as the veins, the arteries, that sort of thing. But it's also considered to be a top-notch herb for emotional support, especially if you blend it with rose and angelica root. And guess what this is blended with? It's got rose in it. So if you're looking for emotional health or some emotional support, and we all know about rose, when you think of roses, you think of what? Most people think of love, but self-love. One of the things I always buy for myself if I want to do a little pick-me-up, Because I just go out and buy myself some roses. Don't wait for somebody else to buy them for you. I just buy them myself. Bring them, put them on the table, right? So the rose quartz plus, I mean, the rose petals plus the hawthorn berries is really a good blend for emotional support. So if you're having a really stressful day, have yourself some hawthorn berry tea, mix it with some rose petals. If you have angelica root, add a little bit of that in there as well. You have a really powerful blend for emotional support as well as heart health. It also helps with lowering your blood pressure because it's a tonic for the circulatory system. Then it's also going to help with lowering your blood pressure in that way. It's loaded with antioxidants. We know that the rose petals are filled with vitamin C. So is the hawthorn berries, really good for that. It's beneficial if you have things like type 2 diabetes, asthma, heart issues, like I mentioned before, as well as issues with, should I say this, premature aging. So if you're noticing these fine lines and wrinkles, you can use the hawthorn berries in that way. All right, so let me flip because I've got quite a few notes on this one. It's got loads of anti-inflammatory properties, which is one of the reasons why it's really good for the heart as well as the whole circulatory system. And so it's also going to help the entire body. When you lower the inflammation in your body, you are in any one particular area, it's going to help the entire body, right? It's not just going to focus on that one spot. It lowers inflammation in your whole body. So it also reduces the blood cholesterol levels. It contains prebiotics. If you can find the fresh hawthorn berries and just eat them raw like that, you're going to get a lot of fiber, which is considered to be prebiotic, which is going to help with your digestion, right? Because we know that prebiotics as well as probiotics are beneficial to having a healthy, what they call a gut microbiome, which is basically all the bacteria, the gut flora that lives in your stomach that goes to work whenever you have a meal. The prebiotics helps to promote healthy gut health. So the hawthorn berries is a really good source of that. Hawthorn berries also help to reduce anxiety. So if you have any issues with anxiety, drinking a cup of hawthorn berry tea will help with that as well. And the other reason why it does that is because if it's a tonic for your heart, it's also going to obviously, reduce any kind of heart palpitations. If it's lowering your blood pressure, and all of those is going to help to reduce any anxiety levels that you may have. Because when you're anxious, what happens? Your heart tends to beat a little bit faster, right? You're sweating. So you'll notice whenever your heart rate goes down, then anxiety levels will also go down, right? Hawthorn berries has also been used to treat heart failure back in the day. So if you have any issues with, well, back then, if your heart wasn't pumping enough blood, then they would give you some hawthorn berry tea, and that would actually help to tone the heart, to promote it pumping enough blood throughout your body, which is still what it's used for today. But it's been used for quite a while in that regard. Hawthorn berries can also help with shortness of breath, because if you have any kind of heart issues, and one of the things that we haven't talked about, MJ, is what the heart chakra actually entails, all of the different organs. And one of the organs that the heart chakra involves is the lungs. So if you're having a heart chakra imbalance and you're having trouble breathing, like shortness of breath, the heart chakra is imbalanced, because the lungs is a part of the whole heart chakra system, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So the hawthorn berries can help with shortness of breath. And that's also one of the reasons why I add hawthorn berries into my Breathe with Ease tea, which I think we talked about. I don't think MJ was with me then, but I talked about that in a previous tea talk episode that I did. So my Breathe with Ease tea blend also has hawthorn berries in it, because I don't remember how many years ago, gosh, probably 10 years ago now, I was diagnosed with mild emphysema. So that's one of the reasons why I started to work with another reason why I started to work with the hawthorn berry. And it's really easy to add to your diet. If you're in an area where you can find the fresh hawthorn berries, then get those. I don't have access to fresh ones, so I use the dried. But you can eat them raw. You can use them to make tea, whether they're fresh or dried. You can make jellies, jams. You can get them in a supplement form. So you can find the Hawthorne berry capsules, the powder, and then they're just filled into a capsule. And you can also find Hawthorne berry wine as well as Hawthorne berry vinegar. So many different ways for you to incorporate Hawthorne berries into your diet, not just in a tea form. And just a couple side effects, have to throw in the caveat here. Anything we talk about here, make sure you discuss with your doctor prior to utilizing anything, especially if you are on pharmaceuticals. Now,
Absolutely.
Couple side effects with Hawthorne berries, and I shouldn't even call them side effects really, because, but I do have to use that term. They're very mild. If you overuse them, and I mean drinking a ton of Hawthorne berry tea, you could find that you sweat a lot. You might get sleepy, because remember, it does help with anxiety. When you bring your anxiety levels down, you get, kind of chilled out. Nothing's really bothering you. You might experience some sleepiness. Drinking too much can also give you headaches. And if you eat way too many Hawthorne berries, they say too much of a good thing can actually be a bad thing. You can get some gastrointestinal issues. So know when to stop if you're eating fresh Hawthorne berries.
Some herbs are not meant to, and fruits like starfish. Starfish is a real beautiful fruit. You see it, it's a beautiful,
Yes.
You get it, you eat it. You can eat one, but when you sit there and you eat three, you just intoxicated your whole body, and we have to call 911. And that has happened. I've seen people, we used to have this beautiful tree, and I would love her, and she would have starfish, but people, they're so good and juicy, and you're like, this is like orange. I could eat oranges all day, and not knowing one is beneficial. 2, 3, 911. Hello, can I help you? So please know that this is where we teach you, learn your herbs and what you can digest and others. So thank you for that. That was great.
Yes. So I want to mention when you brought up starfruit. My limit for starfruit is 3. If I go beyond that, yes, that's exactly what MJ, and it's to the doctor. So there is a limit, even though things are really good for you. When you go above and beyond what your body needs, yes, you can get really sick. One thing from the comments, Heather says, I was just looking through my teas, and I have a tea called Happy Tea. It's black tea with goji berries, rose, chrysanthemum, and hawthorn fruit. Imagine that.
There you go.
Right there. See?
Do you see? Yeah. And you didn't even know. That's why I tell you, go into your herb where you keep your herbs and your teas, and look what you have. You don't know. You may have the most amazing ingredients right there. Even if, let's say, you don't want to drink it, say you need to do some magic and you want to call in some magic, happy magic. Guess what? You just got a happy blend right there in front of you that you can use. How beautiful is that, right?
Exactly. So that was the Hawthorne berries. Now, if you're new to the show, I tend to talk about the medicinal benefits of these teas or the ingredients, and MJ goes to the magical side or the spiritual aspects of these teas. So I'm going to turn it over to MJ, and she will talk all about Hawthorne berries from a spiritual aspect.
Hi guys, how are you? So for me, Hawthorne is related to the planet Mars. It's a fiery energy. All right. So it's about Hawthorne spiritually is about fertility, chastity, fishing, happiness. All right. This is such a beautiful, and then you're gonna say, wow, fishing, chastity, fertility. Wow, and how? Okay, so back in the day, they would put Hawthorne at the entrance of the wedding and around the wedding bed, so that way it brings in fertility for the couples. This is Renaissance time. They would use the hawthorn. Now, curious enough, they would also enforce and maintain chastity and celibacy. They would leave pieces of it stuffed into the mattress. So if you want to put chastity, people, let's go, parents. We're going to hang hawthorn in the mattresses, give them hawthorn pillows, and then that way we're good. All right. So if you carry it in a satchel, it promotes good luck. All right. It keeps you calm in troubling times when you're depressed or sad. This is, you smell it. You put the sachet, they used to keep it here, and they would smell it in, and it would keep them from being sad and depressed. They would burn it in oils and incense, and it would help you. Even to this day, you can burn some in an incense, and it helps you change your vibe. This is a great plant for grief. So, say somebody is grieving from a heartbreak or a loss, this is a wonderful plant to give them, because not only is it beautiful, it is going to help them change their vibe. This plant alone will make them change. Now, the bad luck with this plant is if you cut this tree down, you will be cursed and have bad luck forever. Know this, all right? It is one of those trees. The folklore says that this tree will bless you with branches, but you are not allowed to cut this tree down. Or no bueno. All right. Hawthorne is said to protect from lightning and evil spirits. So what they would do is they would put some, when they knew weather was coming, on the four corners of their home, so that way lightning would not hit their homes. And it would also, on the same instance, keep evil spirits from coming in. Hawthorne is very sacred to the fairies, and we talked about that last time with the last tea. Hawthorne is a fairy tea. It is the triad. It is the oak, the ash, and the thorn. And where there are three grown, there are fairies, and this is the Hawthorne. All right. And then I went back a little more. So Hawthorne, so you know, when you need a hug or feel alone, this herb, just by smelling it, using the oil, will help you feel centered and connected. Talk about just this one herb will truly connect you back into your heart's mix and make you feel whole again. So this is when I would say burn some, get a little incense of it. This is a beautiful herb to have. And since we're connecting, with all, for me, it's rhodochrosite, because it's such a beautiful stone that connects with the heart. And all we'll talk about are heart chakra stones. So that's what I got for Hawthorne.
Oh, so I have a question, because you mentioned about cutting the tree down and how that was like a no-no. If you cut pieces of a branch off, is that okay?
No, you're not supposed to cut off the branch. The tree is supposed to give you the gift. It's just like with a Palo Santo. See, the legend with Palo Santo is the tree is supposed to bless you. You're supposed to grab the blessings from the ground. It's not the tree. It's just like here. When we take fruit from the tree, that you don't just go like, it's mango season now. You don't just go and start picking the mangoes.
Right.
You bless whatever has, right when it drops, you pick it up. I mean, obviously, if it's on the floor a couple of days, it's going to go bad. But if you're watching, you hear what I'm saying. It's the same instance. So with this sacred tree, you let the branches fall down, and that's what you work from. That's the gift. It's like the gifts from the gods. You're not supposed to be picking the tree.
We have a really good question from Shannon, Empty Nesters. What kind of carrier oil would you use to make the Hawthorne berry oils? And it's funny that you should mention that or ask that, because later on I'm going to talk about Moringa oil. And when you hear the benefits of Moringa and Moringa oil, you may want to use the Moringa oil as the carrier oil if you're going to infuse, if you're thinking about infusing Hawthorne berries. I would infuse the Hawthorne berries into Moringa oil, and you'll hear soon. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Right, but stop. But just in case, to answer her question, just in case you just wanted jojoba oil with a little, remember, you don't want to take away from the oil, so a little with that and blend it in and try it. Remember, because you want to make the Hawthorne the most potent thing. If you just want to use that oil, because it is so, the benefits alone from this, we're calling the fairies with this. Make yourself less depressed with this. You could even put it in diffuser, a little oil. Just this one oil is amazing, guys. This herb is perfect.
Yeah, if you can find the Hawthorne berry oil, go for it. The essential oil. I don't think I've ever found the essential oil, but if you can make the infused oil, then go for it. All right. So, like we said, we are not going to talk about every single ingredient, just the ones we have not focused on in previous episodes. So the next ingredient is going to be Moringa. And let me grab some moringa powder. Let me just close this tea jar. So, and here's a tip: whenever you make tea, try to have something that you can cover it as it's infusing, because if you don't cover it, then all of the essential oils are going to kind of escape on steam. So that's one of the reasons why I like to have something covering it. So I have a cover over this particular rose quartz tea right now. All right, so moringa. Here is some moringa powder. It is a vivid green, even if it's not coming across as such. It's a bright green powder. And I have posted several links to different articles, as well as a moringa playlist below this live stream, so that you can go back and you can also look at other videos where I talk extensively about moringa, because we could literally spend 3 episodes talking about moringa alone, but we don't have that kind of time. So if you can imagine one plant or tree that can meet the majority of your nutritional needs, has numerous health benefits as well as medicinal benefits, including the seeds that can be used to purify water, that would be the moringa tree. The moringa tree is referred to as the tree of life, and is used extensively over in Africa to treat malnutrition, among other things. So the name alone, just the tree of life, should tell you that this is an amazing tree. I have grown several of them. I have 3 more that I'm growing in pots right now. The first moringa tree that I grew actually went up to, I think, about 8 feet within a year, 8 to 10 feet within a year. So they're very, very fast growers. So if you want to grow one, you just have to pay attention to it. Otherwise, it will grow out of control. But the moringa, all right, health benefits and nutritional benefits include, I've got my notes here. It helps to lower your blood pressure. It helps to build your immune system. And I'm giving you a lot of the
Wait, are you going to go through the whole list? Because I'm telling you, it's way too much. You need to go over the key points, because I'm sorry.
These are the key points I'm going over.
Right. This moringa is like she said, this is like, I want you to research this, guys, because she's only going to give you this of what this is.
Right.
That's how amazing this is.
That's why I said I've linked the playlist to all of the moringa videos that I've done. So you'll be able to go and watch those. You'll be able to read the articles that I've written all about this, because I can only give you, I literally have maybe 8. It's very, very little. Right. So these are just main points. It does help to lower your blood pressure. It is great for the immune system. With everything that I'll mention, you'll see why it's great for the immune system. It helps to regulate your hormones. It helps to increase the good cholesterol in your body. If you have any kind of allergic reactions, or like around springtime, with the histamine, it does help with allergic reactions. It boosts the antioxidant levels in your body. It helps to relieve inflammation. If you have issues with depression, moringa is great for that. And there are about, if you're familiar with Ayurveda, which is a 5,000-year-old plus system of medicine, it says, according to Ayurveda, that moringa has the potential to prevent at least 300 different diseases. And there are lots of studies that have been published by the National Institute of Health that supports that validity. So you can go online and you can find all of the research to satisfy that. Now, each gram of moringa contains this: 25 times the iron in spinach, 17 times the calcium in milk, 4 times the protein that you find in eggs, 15 times the potassium in a banana, 10 times the vitamin A in carrots, 46 different antioxidants, 36 different anti-inflammatory compounds. And I'm not even mentioning all the different vitamins that are in here. Okay, that's just moringa. And according to there's a certain test called the Orac Test that the US Department of Agriculture used to do. They don't do it anymore and I'll tell you the reason. But the ORAC stands for Oxygen Radical Absorbance Capacity. And it's a test that measures your antioxidant capacity of any given substance. Moringa is at the top with 157,600. Then comes matcha green tea with 134,800. Then comes turmeric with 127,000 and a little bit more. Then comes acai with 102,000. And then it drops drastically to dark chocolate with only 20,000. So Moringa is at the very top. Now, because when Moringa became so popular back in the day, people were using, the marketers were using the Orac Test to basically market their Moringa products, right? So the Department of Agriculture decided, well, too many people, I guess, are starting to use this Moringa, and they have now taken away the Orac Test. It's been, I think they took it away about 10 years ago now, so they no longer use the Orac Test. And I have my own opinions on why they took it away, because there's been so many other studies that have been done on Moringa that validify, is that a word? Prove all of these, the benefits of the Moringa. So whether or not that you have the Orac Test, there are all of these other studies that have been done to show how valid the research is and how beneficial it is to the human body. So regardless of whether the Department of Agriculture has stopped, it is still that's why they call it the tree of life, because it is just so good for your body. And like MJ said, I could only tell you just a few things related to Moringa. You really have to do a lot of research on this because we could spend here forever. It's got skin benefits, hair benefits, beauty benefits. The seeds are used to purify water, to clean water, and that there's numerous studies that have been done in that. The Moringa oil, if you're looking for Moringa oil, it's actually called Ben oil, B-E-N. So look for Moringa or look for Ben oil. It's the same thing. Loaded with antioxidants, anti-inflammatory benefits, antiseptic benefits. It's been used to alleviate rashes, burns, insect bites. Gosh, I could go on and on and on. It's also it's also used to make perfumes. So if you are like me, you like to make your own essential oil blends, Moringa oil is like a perfect carrier oil for that. I mean, jojoba is one, but if you're looking to expand and try out some new things, Moringa oil is perfect for that. Recipes. There are numerous recipes that I have linked in the videos, and then there are also articles that have lots of different recipes of how to use the powder, how to use the leaves, as well as how to use the Moringa pods. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with the Moringa pods. When the flowers kind of fade away, they become these long, thin, look almost bean-like. But if you leave them long enough, they will the seeds will start to grow and they get quite thick. Well, when they're young, you can chop them up and you can make a dish with them. I like to curry them. So there are recipes for the curried Moringa pods as well as other recipes that you'll find. And that is Moringa in a nutshell. And trust me, that's a nutshell because there is so much to Moringa that I could not possibly go over it in the time that we have.
That is amazing. That is so much. And yeah, so guys, I was looking it up and I was like, oh my God, we're going to be here for 5 days. I can't do this. I said, I'm going to have to stick a fork in her because we're not talking.
No.
I said, I'm giving her time limit to talk and I'm just going to cut her in my mind.
That's why I said, just look at the playlist, guys. It's there.
So here we go. So for Moringa, for this part, so Moringa is called the drumstick tree. All right. This is masculine energy. This is It's associated with the sun. It is fire. This is health, courage, protection. All right. Back in the days, back when it was discovered back in India, they called it the miracle tree. For them, it was called not the tree of life, but the miracle tree because of the benefits. But now, because of where it is, of course, it is the tree of life because every part of the tree was good. So in Hindu and Chinese texts, they would use this to uplift the spirit and the mood of people that were depressed. And for meditation, they would use it to connect with source. So they would have their tea before. They would dress candles up to bring courage when people will go out on journeys. They would dress up the candles to give them courage and strength on the road. All right. The Nubian Kemet noble from Africa were buried in the Valley of the Kings around 18th dynasty. They found jars of moringa oil in the casket. And that was the first time in history that they ever found it was half full. Usually it just disappeared. These bottles didn't disappear. And because of those benefits. And then it is said at the age of 29, Alexander the Great had conquered most of the known world, creating the greatest empire, so he says, ever seen. His unstoppable quest ended at the Moringa tea drinking warriors of India. Why? The ancient Murad warriors of India drank the leaves of extracts of moringa every day. It was their staple tea. And on the war front, these men were known to have more stamina and strength. And not only that, it was help, it was a stress reliever, and it numbed the pain. So they were able to go longer. So they actually fought 60 battles with Alexander the Great and tore them apart because they were like, I'm drinking my tea, I'm good. What about you? You're getting all my stuff in here. Yeah, y'all don't know what you got here. So that's how amazing this tea is. An ancient time. It's really good if you do not have it in your diet. This is something I would first, once again, check your medications that you're taking. We always tell you that, very important. But then this is something that you should add, even if you add it in as a blend. This is a beautiful, beautiful herb to have with you.
Yeah. I think Yolanda said, I would love to have one. I am on a mission, and I've mentioned this several years ago. I'm on a mission to have a moringa tree in everybody's backyard. This is it. I fully believe that if everybody started working with moringa, you'll see a lot of the illnesses and all of the diseases kind of vanish. And I think
absolutely
that's one of the reasons why the Orac testing is no longer done, or why they discourage that right now, is because they have seen just how beneficial it is to to anybody who works with it. So, all right. So the next ingredient is hyssop. I don't think we've talked about hyssop before. And if you're familiar with the Bible, you know that hyssop. Oh, did you mention the particular crystal that you
for
moringa? I don't know if you had a particular crystal that resonated
no,
for you.
for moringa, I didn't, because they're all, I believe it's because it's so life, tree of life. I think all crystals go to it. I think when you picture moringa, picture all the heart chakra crystals sitting under it, because that's what that is.
Shannon says, no profit in a cure for lupus. Exactly. No profit in a cure for anything, really. All right. So hyssop. So like I said, if you're familiar with the Bible, you know that hyssop was mentioned in the Bible, and it was mentioned in the Bible as a cleansing herb for people who had leprosy, the plague, and also any kind of chest issues or respiratory issues, right? Now, hyssop this is one particular herb that you either like it or you hate it. There's like no in between. Because for some people, when they smell it, it smells amazing. It smells almost sweetish. Some people, when they smell it, there's a term that they've coined for those people who smell it and don't like it. They call it the Yoda skunk. Because I think it all depends. For every person, would have to come up with their own reaction, their own response to hyssop, right? And you're either going to like it or you're going to hate it. I happen to like it. It doesn't stink for me. It's actually tastes really good for me, right? But I know people who say that it really smells like skunk, you know, when they release their odor. So it's going to be on a personal thing for you. However, even with that, hyssop is loaded with antioxidants. It can help you to reduce your risk of heart disease. It helps reduce the risk of strokes as well as premature aging. And I think I mentioned that in regard to the moringa as well. It also helps to reduce your risk of ulcers. So if you have, have those issues with acid reflux and making too much acid in your stomach, having some hyssop tea would help to reduce your risk of ulcers. It helps with respiratory infections, like I mentioned. That was the one thing it was used for, thousands and thousands of years ago in the Bible, and is still utilized that way today. And this is another ingredient that is in my Breathe with Ease tea that I created when I was first diagnosed with mild emphysema. Because what it does is it helps to expel, it breaks up the mucus, but also helps to expel it from your lungs. So it's really good for that. The tea has also been used to treat coughs, earaches, asthma, bloating, all of those things. If you're allergic to mint, peppermint, spearmint, all the mint family, you cannot use hyssop because hyssop is part of the mint family. So if you're also taking anti-seizure medication, you cannot use hyssop because hyssop has been said to make people who are having seizures, make the seizures worse. Also, if you are pregnant, you cannot use hyssop because it will cause contractions. Now, if you've already had the baby, hyssop is the perfect tea to help you to get that flat tummy back because it causes the contractions, which helps to tone your uterus. So it's a perfect tea for after having a baby. But that is the main reason why it's in here is because it is related to the lungs, and lungs are connected. They're all part of the heart chakra. Yeah, I don't remember what year I was diagnosed with mild emphysema, but I have not. No, the one thing it didn't do was it didn't fix the part of my lungs that are dead. I mean, so there is a 25, 30, 33% or something like that part of my right lung that is completely dead, but I can still go out and run. It doesn't prevent me from doing anything now. Whereas back when I was first diagnosed, I couldn't walk maybe 15 feet to the mailbox because it was, So I'm not promoting this as a cure of any kind. I'm just simply giving you all the benefits of this particular, ingredient and encouraging you to do your research and make sure you talk to your doctors. If you're contemplating coming off certain medications, talk to your doctors, let them know. Some doctors are open. Some will just simply say, no, don't want to hear it. But some doctors are open to have that discussion with you. And you really do have to be your own health advocate because nobody else is going to do it for you. If I waited and, for these doctors to agree with me, I would still be waiting because 90% of my doctors said no to the natural. But I went ahead anyway, and I let them know that I was doing it. They knew. So I do encourage, let your doctors know that you are interested in trying natural remedies. And that way they will know exactly how to work with you. If they're not willing to work with you, then you can also find yourself a naturopathic doctor to have as part of your team. That's one of the things that I did. I kept all of my doctors, but I also found an herbalist. And that was one of the reasons why I trained as well to become an herbalist and now a master herbalist. So those are the benefits for the hyssop. Very short list, but really, really big as in a lot of the benefits.
Beautiful.
to you, Angie.
Now I'll take you over to the spiritual side of this. There's a debate on this side here. So this is a masculine energy, and this is the planet Jupiter. What is Jupiter? Jupiter is about finance, as well as it's fire, it's purification, it's protection. They would use it in the baths and sprinkle it around the churches to prevent evil and negativity. So now there's a big debate. There's a much of a disagreement about being in the Bible. What they're saying is that the Bible hibiscus is actually a different type of plant, and that the origin of the plant, if the stem is actually long enough and strong enough to have been in that time. So I went way back, and there's a big debate about if the actual plant that they talk about in the Bible is actually this plant in itself. And now there's a big hot topic on this. So it was real curious. So what they said was what they add, marjoram, thyme, and mint, and they add it together with this, and this is a purification spray. So they would add it in a blend, and you can put it in a little spray, and you can add it to purify your car, your home, your body when you need to. It is purification. It helps for protection. It's like against the evil. And way back in the day, they would hang it at the front door because it said to keep the witches away. So that's what this was used to back in the day. Yeah, just so you know.
There's a recipe in the Bible that was only supposed to be worked with by the people in the church, so that whenever they went to be around anyone who was sick, like people with leprosy, it would keep them clean. I have not created the recipe, but I've created the oil, based on that recipe, but I also added hyssop into that blend. And it's that was the oil that I worked with during, when COVID first came out, or should I even mention that word? That was one of the things that I worked with as my anti-germ, antibacterial, antiseptic kind of blend. Yeah.
Right, because it has all the properties, it has nothing to do with the Bible. It has all the properties to heal. That's what this is. If we take away all that with these herbs, and then when you blend them together with each other, it's just like medicine. When you go to the doctor, they give you a medication that they have put together in a laboratory that's going to help you with an illness. This is the same sense. These are herbs that we put together to blend to you to make it stronger for you, so you have a sense of healing. And together, you can see there was one of them that made you, if you're sad, you wouldn't be sad. And then this one, if you're sad, you won't be sad. So imagine you add that up, and it's going to help you with your day,
Exactly. It's a very, very, very powerful. So those are the two tea blends, the Rose Quartz and Chrysoprase. Now, we didn't mention, like I said, all of the ingredients, because we have spoken about quite a few of them before. Right. So let me, I did want to talk a little bit about the chakra, the heart chakra. So the organs that these are, I mentioned the lungs, but there are other organs that correspond with the heart chakra, and those include from the heart to lungs, the respiratory system, your thymus, as well as the upper back. And most people don't, when you think of the heart, most people think of the heart itself, but the heart chakra itself, that energy center, is around the center here, but then you also have your lungs in the back as well. That's why the lungs are mentioned at this. And when you have an imbalance in your heart chakra, you have things like chest pain, there's heart disease, respiratory issues, restlessness, shortness of breath, which I mentioned, depression.
You feel jealousy. You're jealous. You play the rescuer. You want to help people. You think, you say, you call squirrel. What I say is squirrel. You're like, instead of dealing with your problems, you want to go save Mary and Gina, opposed to looking at you. So it's all about avoidance. And then you isolate yourself when you know, oh my God, this is too much. I'm being attacked. Why me? You play the victim role really well, and you're very unforgiving of people. Like you project out instead of projecting in. That's a really big sign that your heart chakra is out of balance.
Right. Now, there is a meditation that I did several months ago, and I have linked that that video. So if you want to go back and do the heart chakra meditation, feel free. It's recorded. It'll be there, and you can do you know, if you come back to watch the replay, you can connect all of these, the crystals, the herbs, the meditation. Just imagine what a powerful ceremony that can be right there in and of itself.
Right.
So
Or you can go do a mudra. Remember, a mudra takes 15 seconds and it's yam. Yam is the mantra associated with the heart chakra. So you literally can yam. You're just vibing your vibration and changing the frequency. Yam. Or if you want to go the whole full, you can get a mala 108 times and it changes you. Sit there. And let me tell you, whatever bothers you, when you start that chant, by the time you're done, you will be absolutely back in balance and you will see things clearly. That's why I always say, take a step back when you're not feeling well. It's okay. Even if you're in a frustrated fight with your spouse, whatever, boss, you have a right to say, excuse me, step back, put yourself in mudra and start literally collect your energy, breathe deep down, because you don't breathe, you go and we lose the energy, and that's where breathe it in, push it through, and I got this, I'm going to do this, and then you come back, and then guess what, that energy that was there is not going to be the same anymore, and you're going to be able to deal with anything. And I've proven that. I've had people call me and their boss is about to fire them, and I put them in a mudra, calmed them down, went in, and it changed the whole flow of the conversation. So once you change your energy field and your frequency, especially when it comes from the heart, you change everything, guys.
Exactly. So that is our episode for today.
Yes, and for this one, I know she named it. For me, overall, I'm gonna name this whole thing is the stone of compassion. And for me, the stone of compassion is rhodochrosonite, because it is the most beautiful pink color. And when you feel it and hold it, you have not only compassion for yourself, you have compassion for others and the world. And that's what we need a little more of today, is compassion for each other, guys. So that's what we have to do today.
So this is the rose quartz. It's been sitting there for a few minutes. So that's rose quartz. And then here is, I always have to stir this one because, like I said, the green tea and tends to settle, and the matcha tends to settle, and that is the Chrysoprase. So next week, so today we're at heart chakra. Next week, what are we talking about? The throat chakra. So that's where we'll be next week. All right.
I don't have a problem with my throat chakra, guys. I want to tell you that.
And I'm the one that's actually been doing a lot of work around the throat chakra over the last few years. So that's going to be a very special episode for me. MJ, as always, it's been a pleasure. Everyone who's joined us today,
thank you guys. I hope you.
Thank you so much, and we will see you again.
Hope there was great information. Definitely, we'll see you again. And remember, there's magic in the cup, guys. Use your hands to make it. Let's go. We got this. Have a great day. Take care of yourself.
Bye, guys. Bye. I don't think I want to leave. Look at this. It won't end.